Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning. We're finally back to this painting. How's everyone doing today? Friday. Is that better? Are you happy with it? Steven adjusted the camera.
It's fine.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have a good workout or whatever. He said they've been dark lately, so he wanted to adjust it. We're working on this painting today. And I walked in here and I was like, oh yeah, I really liked how this looked. I did a good job. The only thing that's bothering me about the background is this right here. The little downspout. It looks a little flat as it wraps around this. So I need to make it a little bit taller. And that's not that hard to do. But I can also do it later. That's my thought. And then I picked it up and I realized I hadn't done the bottom. I mean, this part obviously, but like these parts, like see how light it is? And like this needs to be like the lighter green. That's fine. I'll do that all together at the very end. Because as it sits here, it's like picking up whatever is down here anyway. And sometimes that'll stick. And you can kind of see that. Let's see. Can I get it to catch the light? See the shiny part right here? Like there's like some shiny parts. Those parts are like pieces of paint that have stuck to this plastic, flaked off, and adhered to this. So like if I had painted this so it was done, or at least on the edges here, that part would be on top of the finished painting. And then I'd have to like repaint it anyway. So there's pros and cons to doing that part as I paint. The ideal setup would be some sort of like hook tension system that could hook to the back and hold the painting like this while I work so that it floats at all points. Or like top and bottom maybe? Or maybe corners would probably be sturdiest. I don't know. But it would like float. And then I could do all of it. And it would swivel. They do make easels where like this part of it like does like a tilt, like a drafting table would. And it's meant to do like watercolors and like flip back and forth. Or like a TV stand, the Versa mount. That would be great. It's fine. The metal easel I had very early in painting was awful. And a lot of the time I would have to hold it steady if I was doing something really vigorous with the brush on it. And so it didn't fall over. I still have that easel somewhere. Because it's a good collapsible easel in case I need to paint somewhere else. Okay, so what we need to do first today is I need to redraw this in until I'm happy with it, and then block it in base color, and then paint over it with everything, all the detail, which is what we did for the background. We drew it, painted it, did detail, and then we did a green wash. So we're gonna do the same thing with the lantern itself. Now, on the lantern, this part is stone down here, and then it has like this wooden base, and then it's wood here. And then this part, I'm gonna guess is stone, but you can't tell because there's so much moss on it, but for like waterproofing purposes, I bet it is stone. So we're gonna probably end up just like painting it dark, probably all of it, and then doing all of the greenery on top. That'll be the very last thing I do. So that's the plan. We're gonna hopefully have it drawn and blocked in today. That would be the best thing. Oh yeah, I got water. Who looks at the bottom of a painting anyway? So paintings are supposed to be hung, what is it? There's a certain amount. Unless you're doing like a French gallery style. I don't remember the thing, but it's like the average eye height of like humans. And then you hang that on center. Whatever that number is. So you measure up from the ground, and that is center. And that's what you're supposed to do. That was what I was taught for gallery shows. And like, if you hang this normal, like, yeah, people aren't probably gonna see the bottom, but the reason I wrap my canvases is just in case someone decides to hang it without a frame, because some people do like the look of the floating artwork. And I do like how that looks then. I don't know if anyone's ever framed anything of mine. I wonder. I know the Grisaille I did, the nighttime trail piece that had the trail and the trees, that piece. Brandon talked about framing it, but I don't think he ever got to that. Average human height is 5'7". Maybe. I can't remember. There's a number. This was like when I did my college gallery show. So it's been a long time. We have a 17-month resub from Super Yoshi 7, 25 months at Tier 2 from Radio Dread, 25 from Layla 3, 24 from JF Samela. Thank you for hitting 2. And I'm pretty sure I saw your message go by. You were like, good morning or something. A 5-month resub from Rock3683 and 25 months from Bored Turtle. Good morning, everyone. Imagine being average height. Couldn't be me. Noah, yay, I'm average. Vagabond, lol, that's tall. I'm only 5'5". Okay, I don't know why I keep thinking, time to put paint on the palette. We're drawing first. So let's get reference image up. Yeah, the cap is stone. You see a little bit of it up here, a tiny bit of it here, and then just the edge of it you see. Okay. But otherwise this bunch down here is stone. Now, the problem is I drew this with a grid originally. Can we rotate this way? Yeah, that's what I want, because it's plugged in. Now I could redraw the grid in, or at least the parts of it I need. And that might be the thing I should do to help myself out here. Yeah, that would help me. Okay, so we're gonna do that because I can still see a little bit of it in here anyway behind this underpainting we did. And there's so much detail. Like this stone base has like this big surface and then it has 2 little steps and then it has the wood. Yeah. That is the right move for me. Okay. Ruler. Oh, I brought my ruler back. I think I was missing it last week. Oh gosh. Couldn't you just like not fall over today? We have a 24-month resub from Gaxtronaut. You also have a 2 today. Good morning. Paintbrush clicks. The good thing about doing the wash is it does make the chalk easier to erase, which is really great because I don't want the painting to look like it was fogged over. Because it does erase pretty cleanly, but sometimes it's a little, it will tint everything just a little bit. But the wash kind of seals everything else in so that doesn't happen. I'm trying to decide how many of these boxes I actually need, and the answer is not all of them. Like, I don't need this one or that one at all. And I kind of need this one a little bit, but also that's not that important because that part is going to be more vibes based. We have a 23-month resub from Toku Newt and 25 from Rowlet Hoot. Your names rhyme. So, over here, I should probably now set this where it won't fall at all. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay. So I don't need the first one. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this is the wrong grid. This is the grid for when I was going to do the smaller canvas. That looks more accurate. Because I was going to do this 8 by 10 and instead I did 11/14 canvas. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. That's still fine. Love vibes-based painting. I need to do more vibes-based painting, and that's what I told myself I was going to do for this piece, and then I didn't. Okay. nothing is ruined because I did grid this in inches. I'm just looking at the wrong one and I'm like, gosh, this line here isn't anywhere close to where it should be. Anyway, I scrolled over and found the correct one this time. So, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, I do need to lift this up. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be a slightly tedious process. What I should do is I should just put all my marks over here though, because it will help me draw these lines a little bit better. Cool, can't see those at all. I think this will make sense once you see it gridded. Oops, that's not where I meant to push that. We have a 21-month resub from Kita. Good morning. Good morning to you. I'm just going about erasing lines apparently. Whoops. I don't think I need that one down there. All right, those are all my horizontal ones. So let's get, or sorry, the vertical ones. So So now we're gonna do the same thing with these guys. It's really hard to see the ones on the left side with all of the light green. Like almost impossible. Where is this one? I don't know. I lost it. Okay, regridded. We're good. More water. Now we get to redraw, and that will be a whole thing. And what I really should do is I should get a longer chalk pastel because this is just way too short. Wonderful. We have a brand new one. The other thing I did is I took my image and I really messed with the color. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like not right at all. Like it's supposed to be this dark, but I really messed with it just so I could see better. So this is just like a drawing reference and not my color reference. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I centered this so much, it's at least mirrored for the most part. It stops getting a bit mirrored up here with the cap because of all of the greenery. And that's nature, so that's totally understandable that it's doing that. But all of this part should be mathematically perfect because I made it that way. Math be mathin' with this painting, Slick Duke says. Yeah, it do be mathing. So there's our 3 like stone tiers of this. And I will be getting out a ruler and making sure these are straight. Luna Gazer, I came into a banger song. Yep. It's a great one. Okay, so if that is the stone, that's nice. And there's detail here in the stone. There's like these, they're not grapes, but they kind of, okay, they're wisteria. That's what it is. There's these squares that sit here with these wisteria that hang down. And that'll have to just be a thing I do, I think, when I paint the stone. Because I'll block it in solid. And then as I start to do the texture and detail of the stone, that will be then. Grapes. They kind of look like grapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be this guy. Right? I can't tell which chalk lines are which chalk lines. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is this one. Okay. So on this one, we have this horizontal wood piece. Cross that line, and then it comes over horizontally. The lantern itself, like this part of it, isn't bad. The base of it is kind of a pain. Because what we have is, we essentially have, like if we're looking at it top down, it's like hash mark. So like the base is this. So we have to draw that in space and 3D. Like it's foreshortened, but also 3D. So we have, I should do this in pencil, but I don't know where my pencil went. So we have like this block here, and then this block, and those like go backwards in space. But then we have these cross braces that also like sit here. And then there's another one that sits back here. So imagine a 3D hashtag, but then like tilted back. That's what we're trying to draw for this base. And that's slightly frustrating. And then the lantern sits on top of that. And that's a cube. We have a 20-month resub from Reed the Nintendo Painter, and Reed gifted a sub to Circle Now Squared. Well, thank you for both. Good morning, Reed. And like, I thought about painting in the stone and blocking that in, so like that was set. But what if that's wrong? What if I need to adjust it after I do the rest of this? So I won't yet. Now we have to draw it. And if I was going to be very perfect with this, I would have a vanishing point, and all of these would go to the vanishing point. Because right now, they're not quite doing that. And I should. So we're going to draw this one up all the way. And that seems like a pretty decent vanishing point, is this line right here. So we will make that the vanishing point. Where is it in the actual photo? Much higher. Ooh, yeah, it is way up high. It's more like this. I can make that the vanishing point. Instead of here, because this is where I've drawn it, but this is where it should be. Ooh, that drastically changes things though. I don't think I like it. Okay. It doesn't feel as natural. So we're gonna go with this one. That will be our vanishing point. All right, I have enough down here that I could start to block this in with a paint marker. And then at least bring my lines up into this part and then draw that. Because we have the same thing going on up here where we have the same shape as down here, but repeated. Now, which is my best paint marker to use for this? I'm thinking white. But black might be better. Is one of my technical ones not clogged up in need of replacement currently? Oh no, that's perfect. This one's a lot finer. It will go better. All right, so I'm gonna draw in this base part and make sure everything is straight and level. So that is vanishing point, and I will need that later. But I am going to use that to measure everything off center, from center. So 1 7/8. The problem is I need to be level to start with, and I don't know if I am. So we're gonna have to measure from this. This is the math side of art I do sometimes that I think turns out really nice, but then I kick myself for it. I'm like, why did I bother? I should just paint looser. So I've made this level. I really wanted to use this marker, but the chalk keeps clogging it up. Shoot, I went too far. No, this wasn't a happy accident, not at all. This is a I need to fix this now accident. And if I'm quick with acrylic, you can do it. But it is happy. No one's happy. Okay, we fixed it. So this line that I just drew in black is like the step that sits here on the wood part. Nobody named Mal is happy. No. So now we brace the canvas a little bit better and we start drawing more. Now that we have that, we have 2 3/4 and two 3/4 over here. And then this one is going to be this top here. This. And that does go out further than I drew it, I think. Oh yeah, way further than I originally drew it. Okay. That's fine. It goes out more towards like here. One, 2.5. 1, 2.5. And then I have to decide exactly 1, 2, where my next vertical is. A little bit above 2. Vertice. I did pretty good. Okay, I'm kind of spot on where I need to be. So this one should sit here. And what is that? It's 2 1/4. Okay. So we're gonna go back over here and measure down 2 1/4. Things are happening. So we have that. Three, 4, 5. There's so many blocks on this part. I think this should sit visually right there. And that unfortunately is not a nice whole number. That's 3/16 off. Luna Gazer, it's never a nice number. No, it's always a number that is going to be like a hard split or not easily divisible. Top of this line. How far does this go up? Oh, I can take this all the way up even though it doesn't. So those are the edges of the actual block. That helps a bit. The good thing is once I get this drawn in, I can erase all this chalk and it will just kind of appear. So if this is that, I think I have these pretty good about where they should be. Okay, 1, 2, 3 fourths. 1, 2, 3 fourths. The song made you want to play Mario Party? I was just thinking about that. I was like, ah, I played so much Mario Party in high school. Next, this is a vertical, so now we need another tiny, tiny horizontal piece. So this one, I think should sit closer to here. Now I just need to measure where this is in space and then mirror it. That looks good. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3 1/4. Okay. Can we see the lines? It's so tiny for my screen. All the horizontal lines here. And Dream says, good. That doesn't seem straight. It's not. That's okay. I just did it. We'll let that dry for a second. And we'll refix that. So all of these go to our vanishing point, which is this guy. So we can start to draw those in next. I do have a few more lines to draw in here with the wood part, so maybe we'll do that while we wait on this bottom part to dry. I should have done all the same side first. Oops. It's fine, we'll just work from the bottom up then. This side didn't quite do the same thing, because like whereas this one hits above that, that one kind of hits right on that line. And it makes me wonder if I should move the vanishing point up just a little bit. Because if I do, it'll pull that line up. Probably should. Aggregated says, I like the color used for the wood. It's very rich. This color, or you can kind of see it here. It does look very nice. I'll probably, let's go back to my true color. The wood on the actual lantern is a bit grayer, so it's more desaturated. But I think overall it will be less green, so it will, because we need it to pop against the background. So I think that's going to be my plan. My favorite color right now is like this square, this lower piece here. It just has a lot of like different colors to it, and I really like it. Right now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to pull my vanishing point up just a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Because I really don't like how these are lining up into the next step of each of this right now. So if I pull it up to this guy, how does that look? That feels better. Okay, we're just going to do that. This will be our new vanishing point. Luckily, I'm at a spot in the painting where I can still do that. We're gonna take a short break. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna have some water for a second. I know, watch. I haven't done any rings today for a workout. Are you transparent? You're transparent. Okay, so we're just gonna sketch on top of this because you won't see it. So like here-ish till about here. And then it's mirrored over here. So like there's these two blocks that sit here, and then they get this stem up, and then they have like this wisteria bloom. And it does the same thing over here. So there's that. And somewhere in here, we get these other blocks that I need to draw in. We also get a little bit of this back here. And I think I'm just going to freehand this. Words spoken moments before disaster. I will need to use my vanishing point though. It's so confusing right here. Like what I'm trying to look at is right there. And it's so confusing because I'm like looking at my lines and I keep second guessing myself. So I'm going to do that and then draw this to the vanishing point. Now I have to do the same thing over here. Okay, that's a good base. That looks pretty nice. I like that. That looks mathematically sound. I can get behind that. Noah says don't second guess. No, it's measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, draw once. So I kind of want this to sit here. So I need to figure out what that is. That is 1 3/8. 1 1 2 3/8. That doesn't look straight. to switch markers again. Back to the not technical marker. So there's obviously all of this detail that I could start to fill in here. But I'm kind of feeling like that could be a later layer that I work on. So there's more of the wood blocks that sit up here, and then we have the stone. And there's obviously details like there's these little rivets that sit here. I think they're bigger than I just painted that. So there's like those that exist. And I can just roughly sketch this in. Playlist is extra good today. The god of randomness is on our side with good music. So what I want to do now is sketch in the top of this, so I know where that part sits, and then all of this underside of this is going to be dark anyway, so we're not going to see a ton of it. But I have the part that was really frustrating me done, which was really nice. Everything else is secondary. All right. Now I just have to mirror my drawing. Mary and her funny dog skipped town a while back. She is gone, yes. These are a little bit different, and I think it's because of the moss, like just covering so much of it. Because like this square slopes here, and this square should be the same, but it's not. I'm having a hard time seeing. Uh-oh. This part should be dark. Cool. Because this here is mirrored. There's a little bit here that should also be darker, but look how much green there is right here. Because what I can do is I can get away with making it do that. cross here and meet here. I can just exaggerate these curves a little bit. And I think that will do exactly what I want. I get 300 bits from Reed who says pink gold. Like a rose gold? This is the wrong marker. Where's the other one? It's over here. What are we marking in white with the chalk right now? It's the cap, like the stone part of this. And this part isn't as important to get perfect, in my opinion, but I do want to make sure that I am not missing any parts of what I filled in already. So the only thing I didn't do is like here. And now that I've changed this back to its normal color, I can't see any detail. So we're gonna go back to this one, even though the grid lines are wrong. I just have to keep that in mind, that the grid lines are very wrong. But it does let me see more detail about what's going on the underside where it's super dark. Because we should still see a little bit of this in here. So if this comes up here, and that comes there, we should get a little bit of these guys. So theoretically they should kind of sit there. And then we should get another one of these squares here. And then I just have to mirror that over here where we have a square and a this and a that. Which will also give us this top line. And then we have this space to fill in with this. Because we get a lot more of this greenery that dips down into this area. So I'm going to start by bringing this line up because these guys should line up. And if I had done this on the not metric side, I would have known the number of that. Is this officially clogged now and not going to write for me? I'm thinking it might be. I guess we'll switch to a pencil. Because the shininess of it will show just enough. Maybe. Maybe not over there. Rip marker. I just need to replace the tip of it. is fine. I just get frustrated that I feel like it should last longer. All right, so that gives me a good idea for this. I know kind of where it sits now. And then I can divide it up mathematically, and that will look best. Similar to how I did these lines. Felt tip. This one's plastic, and the technical is also plastic. It's just a lot smaller. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces on each. And if I can't fit all of them, that's fine. But I can at least kind of look at it better. So that's putting us right around 1 o'clock, and we have the outline locked in. We don't have the color filled in, which is what I was hoping to get to. But this was way more technical than I probably should have done. But it looks really good. And I'm happy with that. Kit says, so the plastic nib breaks down. It does wear down, but on the technical one, what happens is the acrylic dries and clogs the channels that the liquid acrylic flows through. And then this one doesn't do it as bad, just because they're made super differently. Okay. So what I think my next plan is to block all of these pieces in, kind of like a coloring book. Like, this is light gray, this is dark gray, and just start filling that in so I can see what's going on better. And then I go on top of each of those pieces with detail and texture and little things. I'm just realizing something. I don't want to forget that I can see. Tiny lip there. Kit says, the process. It is the process. What I want to do is have this all dry so I can erase all of the chalk. And I can't do that yet because I don't know what's wet. And if I erase the chalk, then it will smear. And that would be bad. Yeah. These feel off, but all of the greenery is going to mask any of that. And that's fine. Yeah, don't smear it. Yeah, I won't. So as much as I want to get like color on this and fill it in so I can see it better, we're going to leave it alone. And we're going to let it dry until next week. And I think that is going to be the smartest move I can make. This was very much a mental exercise in drawing this and making sure everything was right. Because I've decided to go on and do it geometrically instead of vibes. Which means that we're gonna wrap up on it for today. Kita says, honestly, I love the progress on this. It's very different. Like, sometimes when I do paintings, it's kind of just slapping paint down, which is fun. And what I need to do is I need to get better at that. I need to be more committed to making mistakes. And like, I like painting this way and it turns out good. And I think it is a skill I have. But the skill of being able to do a painterly expressionist piece is not something I'm confident in as much. So I don't do it as much. And what I need to do is I just need to kind of practice doing that. Next week, micrometers and laser levels. I think you're right, aggregated. I need to get some laser levels. And the problem is these aren't always built perfectly square. This one is not bad. Some of them are real bad. And when I draw like this, I can always tell. But if I'm not doing it this way, it does not matter as much. And that's fine. I told myself to grease this chair, and I still haven't. Let's talk about things that are coming up. Man, I need to do my polish. I just got a birthday polish in because it was my birthday. And I got the color Got Cake. So what I need to do is take this polish off and then put that on. Maybe I'll do that today. Tonight we are going to be playing Split Fiction on Steven's channel. I'm very excited to continue that game. It's been very, very fun. So I hope you've been tuning in and enjoying that. It's a very fun game. Sparkly Silver, yeah. I'm really glad I didn't do it earlier this week because I had a catastrophic bike failure, which resulted in needing to get a new tire. Thankfully, I was not injured. I was never in danger of being injured based on what happened, but... Hi, Lunar. Lunar resubbed at 24 months. Made it in time right for the end. You can see the progress we've done. Let's see. I think, oh, there you go. You guys can see better what I was doing. Look at that. It's a little blurry, but those are all the details. All the black. And you can kind of see the wisteria here that I had just roughly done in shading gray. So next week we will block this in with solid colors. Yeah, I told the story on Thursday's breakfast stream. I was out for a ride with some people I met in the bike community, and I watched one of them hit this piece of metal, and I didn't have enough time to signal that I was going to swerve around it, and I thought that person hit it fine, and then I hit it, and it sliced my sidewall of my tire, which is bad, and it popped the tube, so I had to signal and pull over, and then we changed the tube inside the tire, and then none of us had the thing that checks the pressure of the tire. So once we got the new one in and got it at least stable enough to ride 2 miles to a bike shop, we didn't know what pressure the tire needed to be at, but it was safe enough to get to the 2 miles to the bike shop. And then I had to buy a new tube and a new tire, and that was fun. Slick Duke says, moral of the story, always keep a dollar bill on you when riding a bike. Yes. Because, well, I ride tube tires. Some people ride tubeless. I know how they work, but like, I don't know best practices for that. But you have the tube, which is inside the tire. And then you have the tire that like is on the outside of that. And if your tire gets slashed, the tube can like bust through the tire, and then the new tube breaks too. So what you do is if you have something like that happen where the tire gets slashed in addition to the tube, you put a dollar bill in between the tire and the tube so that the tube can't push its way out of the hole in the tire. As long as it's small enough. And you don't inflate it too much to put too much pressure on that dollar bill. And it was safe enough to get back to a bike shop. It's a Band-Aid solution. It kind of is. Anyway, it was a good learning experience. And then I talked to someone else I knew, and I was like, I really don't know much about tires. And they sent me an essay on bike tires. And he's like, I ride 45s. They're really great. Here's why. You ride 725s. They're great for road, but like, this isn't what you need. Slick Duke says, a bike essay? This guy really likes talking about bikes. And I know like I do, but he's really serious. But it's also like he's super willing to share and teach me, which is good because I need that to learn more. Anyway, I was talking about what's coming up and all I said was split fiction. Monday, we're going to continue with Beyond Good and Evil, and I think we might finish it. I don't see why we wouldn't. We're going to Selene, I think, is the name of the moon, or the base on the moon, or something. And like, that's kind of the last place. I can't remember how long it is to sneak through there. Starkos Feast Day. I should eat all the Starkos during the final boss fight. Just keep gathering Starkos and then just eat like 10 of them in a row. Because they restore 1 unit of your energy. Tuesday next week will be breakfast stream. Steven's going to be starting the Shadow of the Colossus remake for PS4 on Wednesday. And next week I think things are pretty standard about what's going on. I don't think there's anything else interesting that I know about. If there is, I'm missing it. I don't have it in mind. So yeah, hope you all join us tonight for Split Fiction, Monday Beyond Good and Evil, and next Friday we will block this in. We'll erase all the chalk, we'll block it in, and then we'll start doing the detail, and it will be very nice. I'm very excited, because it's looking really good. Sometimes you do a painting and you're like, just killing it, knocking it out of the park. Mr. Deathkill says, happy birthday to Haley tomorrow. That's correct, tomorrow is Haley's birthday. Thanks to everyone for being here. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday, and I hope to see you all tonight for Split Fiction.